All right, looks like we got some people here already. Yes, it's Labor Day, 6th of September 2021. I just thought I'd let everybody know a couple of things. I've been saying for a long time, and you got to read between the lines here, that the governments of this world, including our own, have declared war against their citizens in this entire situation on this medical situation, right? Using that as the cover, and that the real situation has to do with eliminating a lot of us and making it so that they don't have to continue with their social safety nets, taking care of the contract promises they've made in the past. Not that I care about that. I just assume that, I don't really care about that, but that's their way of handling it so that they don't have to admit that they've been stealing from us for all of these years. You understand what I'm saying in between, right? We know, if anybody who's looking at this thing that they're trying to push on us now, that that is a bioweapon. It's at the very least a binary bioweapon, but I think it has even more stages than that. And I've been talking about that for, I think it's going on 2 years now. Okay. Well, sometimes these things hit home real fast, and I just wanted to give you some information. First of all, I did a video some time ago, it was in the evening, about how the military will take intermediate objectives to get to the final objective. Hello, Mrs. Cat. Okay. Now, in the situation that we're seeing now, we've seen a buildup of propaganda, misinformation, coercion, et cetera, et cetera, all these different things, right? Those are intermediate objectives. But they still haven't achieved their final objective yet. They're still coming after that, which is, of course, that we all submit to this procedure, you understand, which will then open the door to the electronic panopticon. And however you want to look at the mark of the beast, I'm telling you that it's a system, and we have to fight the system. We have to stand against the system, not just wait till they put some little mark in your hand, which is nothing more than the culmination of everything else that leads up to it. The real problem is the current medical procedure, all right, because it's changing your image and placing another image in you, into the temple of God. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. So, to have these intermediate objectives, what they're doing is they're separating us. All right. When a commander goes in the battlefield and they have let's say that it's a division commander and he's got an enemy company over here, okay, that's standing against him. If that enemy company is in the plan, all right, to go after the final objective, he's going to go after that company to separate their ability to resist him, right? And to take away the help of the other to the enemy's other uh, partners. Okay, their allies. So in other words, go after that company. Then there's a platoon over here that's stopping this part of the division. Go after that platoon. You see, they don't attack it all at once. All right, they go after the areas of the greatest resistance, or they bypass them all together, which I'm going to get to in a minute, and go around them to get to the final objective. But you get my point. You're separating the enemy. The commander separates the enemy from their component parts. Do you understand what I'm saying? We're seeing that in the divide and conquer now. They're setting the people that are receiving this against the people that won't, at all levels of society. So, with that background, let me tell you what just happened this morning. It actually happened yesterday. I have a daughter who's a nurse. Okay, and this has been happening to a lot of medical professionals. They're trying to separate out the medical people first, the first responders and all that. You see how they're going after just spots? Because they figure if they get them to go, then they can get somebody else to go along with it, right? So that's what they're doing. They're going after certain groups first to try to convince them and take punitive or other civil action against them if they won't receive it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay. That's a form of combat. They are warring against us using the corporate America to do it, using corporations to do it. Although Biden said he'd like to mandate all this stuff, right? Okay, so this is what happened. So my daughter was told yesterday that she has to get this GMI, okay? And she refuses. All right? Now they know a little bit about her fighting spirit. She's a lot like her dad. I fought for my rights, and I stood alone in it if I had to, okay? I had friends dropping by the wayside who didn't want to get involved, even though they said they'd be there. And the same thing is happening now with the stand I'm taking now. Same thing's happening, okay? Well, this affected my daughter. This has happened to other members of my family too, but not quite to this length. Let me show you what they did. So they told her she has to get this, and they've been warning her about it for about a month. Well, I just sent her one of the pages of the drug company's explanation of what's going on here, and of course the Foxtrot Delta Alpha, where they talk about the extension of the Echo Uniform Alpha. Okay, the extension not fully okay. You understand what I'm telling you? I sent that to her, and she's going to fight it. Well, guess what they did? She works 40 hours a week, actually about 42. They reduced her hours to 6 hours a week because they knew they didn't want to fight her. They can't fire her because they know she's going to stand up with the actual statement in this document, this government document. They know she's going to fight them on that, and they won't be able. And I told her, I said, look, you tell them you're going to sue them personally, not just the corporation, but you're going to sue them personally. All right? So what they did was they reduced her hours from 42 hours a week to 6. Why did they do that? Because they figure she'll quit and go look for another job. So it's their way of forcing their will on their people. Do you see how that works? They're dividing out the pockets of resistance. And the American people are stupid enough, too many of us are stupid enough not to realize that old statement, well, they came for my neighbor, I did nothing. They came for this neighbor, I did nothing. They came from old Joe across the street, I did nothing. And now there's nobody here to help me when they're coming for me. That's exactly what they're doing. And the American people are being really, really bad about this. I'm so ashamed of the largest number of the American people. Look what's happening in France and the UK and in Germany, how they're standing up and fighting on this thing. Where's the American resistance? Well, we're cream puffs now. We're cream puffs. So, that's where this is going, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that you pass this information along, not just from me, but from all of those who are speaking out against this, including yourselves. This isn't about health, not in the way that you would think. This is a war. This is modern warfare, so that they can keep the infrastructure intact and not destroy it, which I think is, it's got some advantages, certainly. But it is a war. It is nothing less. And any political, corporate, ecumenical, ecclesiastical group that supports this is at war with you in no uncertain terms, no ifs, ands, or buts. Your governors, your mayors, your county, whatever they are, they vary from county to county. It doesn't matter. If they're on board with this, they are part of the enemy and they are at war with you. I'm not going to accept ignorance as an excuse, or that they really don't understand. They should understand. The evidence is out there. All they got to do is ask for it. But when they get it, they ignore it because they're being told something. Remember, and I brought it up, what it is now, 3 years ago, maybe 4, where they had those governors' conferences that were held, I think, in St. Louis, Missouri, and they were all kept quiet. That was all secret and all that. They know, ladies and gentlemen, they know. They're evil enemies. And it's even correct to call out Rand Paul, Ted Cruz, Ron Johnson, Thomas Mann, even the guys that appear on our side, that appear on the side of right. If they are not calling this out for what it is, and that that there are 2 purposes of this, actually more, but they're bringing this in to control our freedoms. Number one, I'm talking somewhat in parables here, control our freedoms and to get rid of us. That's what this is. But I wanted to come on today and talk about what they did to my daughter so you can see the tactics that they'll use. That's how they're going to do this. They can't fire you outright because you definitely have. I mean, there are places that have done that, and they've really exposed themselves on a number of levels, even though the courts are corrupt. So I don't really expect to get much from the courts as far as relief. I don't. But to avoid even the possibility of that, they've now moved into other avenues of getting rid of people who will not bow and submit to their god Moloch, just like they did with my daughter by reducing her hours from 42 to 6 a week. I've got to go. I can't really get on here and talk with you all right now. The war is escalating. It is not subsiding. We have hundreds, thousands, even hundreds of thousands of people standing up against these things across the world. And the elites don't care. The governments don't care. There's only one thing they understand, and that's force. It's going to have to move, I'm afraid, from protests to force. And that's going to open up a really horrible situation. But you know what? They won't bend any other way. I'm just warning you. I'm not saying to do it. I'm telling you that that's where it's going to go. Either that, or the people will kneel down and bend their heads over while they get their heads lopped off. It's going to be one of the two. If you read between the lines. Okay. I got to go out here for now. Just wanted to let you know the tactics are out there. They can use all sorts of things against you, just like a commander will either attack this group or bypass it to go after this group until they get to their final objective. We're seeing a full-blown, multiple attack, multiple pronged, in-depth, full spectrum dominance warfare upon the people. That's what's happening. God damn you, Milley and Austin, for not standing up for the people, but standing up for the system that helps you to be the gluttonous bastards you are. Out here.